We did a lot of, they had a little bit of film work to watch on their own yesterday, but wanted to take yesterday off. Today we went through all of our defensive emphases and touched on the offensive stuff. We'll do a little bit more tomorrow and be ready to go Sunday.
How important was it to give them the day off, kind of regroup mentally, and you said just wanting them to go outside, step away a little bit?
Well, I think that's important, and I think you're always going to have. It always feels like these days just come one, these games come one after the other, but when you get a chance to take a step away and take a deep breath, that's a good thing, and hopefully they enjoyed it.
Hey Brad, their offensive rebounding has hurt you guys in the past, especially Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love too. I mean, is that a byproduct of so much attention being on? Is that a byproduct of their ability to get on the glass? Where does that?
Yeah, first and foremost, those guys are great offensive rebounders. Secondly, LeBron draws so much attention, and then third, because of that, he gets you scrambling. But first and foremost, again, those guys are tremendous offensive rebounders individually.
You guys have been a lot better on the glass, I think, overall this season. I mean,
right.
is that personnel? Is that what do you
I mean, I think one of the things that we've, when we went small in the past, we were pretty small, and now we're pretty big. But still, you have to do a great job of keeping the ball in front of you, making everything as difficult as possible, and getting to their bodies. The offensive rebounding is one of many concerns that you have as you get ready to play these guys.
Coach, their defensive transition has gotten better this second, like in the playoffs. Ask a deal about that, and also the role of Jeff Green and Korver.
Yeah, Jeff Green's been great, and I think their defense overall has been really good. I thought they played great in the Toronto series, clearly. At the end of the Indiana series, with the exception of Game 6, I thought they were really good. They're super talented. They've got a lot of guys to go to, and they're very versatile and long as well. So when you look at a guy like Jeff Green being able to come off the bench and play a bunch of different positions for him, when you've got a guy like obviously Korver, Smith, Hill, standing around LeBron and Love, and being able to play off actions, play off flares, do those type of things, and then guys like Clarkson and Hood and Osman can come in and do what they do. It's a good team.
Brad, your thoughts on the fire to Dwane Casey?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing from the standpoint of the coaching profession, but as far as another coach, looking at what he was able to accomplish, I think he's a role model for a lot of coaches. When you think about his great players got better and played great, his young players all got better, and really the second unit in Toronto was as good of a team and as fun of a team as there was to watch in all of basketball this year. And on top of that, Dwane is as good of a person as they come. So, that's why I think we all know in coaching that this stuff happens. It's disappointing from a professional standpoint, but it doesn't take away how good he is. And I'm sure that people will be lined up to try to get him to coach their team shortly.
Everybody practiced today, and is there any update on Shane?
Nader didn't practice. He was doing some one-on-one stuff at the beginning of practice and got swiped across the eye and had a little bit of blurry vision, so he's going to go see our doctor here. Shane did not practice. He's in the training room. He's not going to play early in this series for sure. I doubt that he'll play anyways. And I think everyone else that's been available did. What's that, 10? Yeah, everybody else did.
The last two games against Cleveland, you guys started Korver outside the 5 and Moritz at the 4. Do you think that's the lineup you'll return to this series?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, in one of those games we played pretty well. In the second game we started okay, but we didn't play well. So, we'll look at all those things over the next few days and let you know.
In the matchup against LeBron, obviously it's a collective effort, but Marcus Morris has had strong success against him individually.
Totally a collective effort.
Yeah.
Totally a collective effort. Marcus is a big, strong, competitive guy, but you have to guard LeBron as a team. LeBron's a special player, and they have really good players around.
It seems like he's really been setting up his game in the postseason as well. He's been to 7 straight finals. Do you have to tell your team, do you have to remind them that experience doesn't matter in the playoffs, or has that already really been said?
We don't talk about any of that stuff. We just talk about getting ready for game 1. you know, as far as we're concerned, there's a power in being naive.
Brad, Jayson's usage rate climbed after the Kyrie injury and has climbed even further in the playoffs. How much of that is just organic, like you guys needed him more, and how much of it has been from the coaching staff turning toward him and kind of putting more on his shoulders?
Well, I think a little bit of both. But I think, you know, we're probably calling a little bit more for him than we did in the past, but at the same time, that was, you know, somewhat with the loss of Kyrie. And then not having Smart for some games, not having Jalen for some games. Like, you know, he has continuously met every challenge. And certainly guys have always looked for him. He's starting to get a better feel for kind of playing in the flow of a non-call. And then you know, he made the big hoop late where he back cut from the opposite side of the floor and Smart found him, and you know, had a bunch of others where he's playing just off simple actions to give him a step. You know, he's a really, really good player who's just going to keep getting better, and you know, you can kind of see the experience kicking in a little bit.
You talked about, I think it was at the All-Star break, you talked about how you wanted to give more responsibilities to him back then. His usage rate was really low at that point for someone so efficient. What has the process been like of giving him?
Well, I thought that in early January, you know, it went up a little bit from what it was even at the start of the year. And there's a lot that comes with that. I mean, if you have to guard, you know, guys like J.J. Redick or Dario Saric on one end of the floor and never make a system mistake and come and you know, be a go-to guy on the offensive end of the floor, that's a transition. There's a lot of transitions there, and so you know, that's why it's so helpful to have so many good players and guys around him. But when Kyrie went down, clearly there's going to be increased usage for all of our better players.
You know Kyrie really well. He knows LeBron really well. What's the role of Kyrie today in terms of preparing the series and against LeBron?
You know, first of all, you know, I think one of the things is I spent a lot of time with him yesterday. I'm sure he'll talk to our players individually. You know, we've all played against Cleveland now a bunch in the postseason 2 of the last 4 years, and then certainly in the regular season. You know, because you know, because they're on TV all the time, we're watching them every night just like everybody else is. So I think there's a lot that everybody knows that makes LeBron so great. But certainly, you know, pick Kyrie's brain on not only them, but him, but the other guys around him.
Brett, guys like Jalen, last couple questions. Terry have talked a little bit about having that day off, you know, debrief a little bit and just relax. And also, how important is it for them to kind of keep that enthusiasm, that youth that they bring to what you guys do?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we don't have a spirit about us and a competitive will about us, you know, then we're not very good. I mean, we're not going to be able to do what we ultimately want to do. And so we know that, but part of that is taking your opportunities to rest and resting. You know, I think that being able to, it's not about how hard we go at each other today. It's about preparing to go hard on Sunday, and rest is a part of that.
Can you talk about the uniqueness of this matchup? I mean, a year ago, they were completely, I mean, almost essentially different lineups. Yeah,
I mean, it is. It's really unique. I think it's a testament to Cleveland to be able to have so much change this year, and a testament to LeBron and his play and the guys around him. I mean, you look at that Indiana series, that was a back and forth series, and then Indiana played great, and then they, you know, when they started Thompson in Game 7 and kind of went to their older lineup, they were unbelievable, and they just rode that wave into the Toronto series and were just incredible. From our standpoint, you know, I feel like guys are just, it's been a lot of fun. You know, we talked about prior to the playoffs, nobody should love a challenge more, and nobody should have more fun doing it. And I think our guys have done a good job of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.